Yeah. Welcome back to another edition of the Link Up. I'm your guy, Tone Deshields II. I'm joined by none other than the good brother, Lord Brunson, and Symone Stanley will be joining us ever so shortly. But we gotta keep the energy going. The show must go on. You was a little tardy last week. She a little tardy this week, but it's for good reason though. It's for good reason, right? The game is in Brazil. Symone got to get the nails done. Got to make sure she tooted and booted. You feel what I'm saying? So
right. She got represent.
Be here. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man.
I'm
so we got a big
here, bro.
Oh, of course. And listen, you already got your late pass, and you know what I'm saying. So we only got to respect whenever you want to be late. But it is what it is, man. But that's what you do when you got a three-headed monster, man. Hold it down for the squad, man. However it may go. But yeah, man, we got a big one. We definitely got a big one. It's definitely game week. There are it's a lot of talk, a lot of chatter. Are the Philadelphia Eagles ready? But we're gonna get into it, man. The boys is practicing with them black uniforms on, that weird combination that we're not used to seeing. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And let's talk about how we can absolutely get ahead of the curve against the Green Bay Packers.
I'm glad you said it, because here's the thing. Although this is week one, this could be a playoff preview, a divisional round preview, could be a wild card preview, could be an NFC championship preview, right? And the Green Bay Packers, they're a team that's on the up and up. They're ascending. Do they have their limitations in their quirks? Sure, every NFL team has their limitations in their quirks. But when you look at the Green Bay Packers from top to bottom, you got to say to yourself, okay, that's a team I have to take seriously. That's a team I have to respect, especially with the quarterback now being the highest paid man in the NFL. His game is on the up and up. That wide receiver core, young, but on the up and up. Man, we're going to get into key matchups. We got to get into offense, defense, keys to victory, advantages, disadvantages. The injury report is still, coming out as the week progresses, and we're going to make some predictions here and there. But you're absolutely right. Like this is such an important matchup in more ways than one, because again, this can show us or give us a barometer about where the Philadelphia Eagles are as of today.
Yeah, and I agree with that. The only thing I might not agree with in its totality is the barometer piece of where we are after game one, because this is the thing, though, Tone. We do got the coordinators that can adjust. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have that last year. So last year, game one would have been a perfect barometer because we didn't have the expertise in the building to make the adequate changes so we can, be a different team next week, depending on matchup. This week will let us know how effective training camp was. I definitely say that. But there are some key matchups in place here. There are some guys who we need to see. We get a barometer on certain individuals for sure. If they're ready, if they're not. But yeah, man, it's some key matchups that I think we got to discuss. And, one of the key matchups I think would be, Jalen Hurts against that Green Bay Packers defense that's a little revamped.
Okay, so let's get into that, right? I think it starts with their defensive line. They got guys like Rashawn Gary on there. Who else they got out there? They got Quay Walker at linebacker. They got Kenny Clark at DT, right? I think, even beyond just the Jalen Hurts aspect of it, I think about Cam Jurgens and Mekhi Becton, excuse me. Cam Jurgens and Mekhi Becton. They're technically the new guys as far as the starting lineup goes on the offensive line, and they're the heart of the offensive line, right? We know what Dickerson's going to do. We know what Lane and Mailata is going to do, but Mekhi Becton, the right tackle turned right guard, and Cam Jurgens came in as a center, played right guard last season. Now he's back to his natural position, right? Let me get your perspective on just that matchup between Mekhi Becton, Kenny Clark, Cam Jurgens, just the overall interior of the offensive line versus that interior of the Green Bay Packers defensive line.
So I think we'll be good as the game progresses. So, with the offensive line and the offense in general, I think we got to be mindful that, those guys didn't play in preseason. We got to be mindful. And this is the downside of not playing in preseason. Of course, the bonus is keeping guys healthy, keeping key guys off the injury report and things of that nature, having key guys start fresh. But the downside, in my opinion, would definitely be, the lack of reps with that starting offensive line as a unit. Now, we could see some false starts. We could see a few blown assignments. We could see guys just not knowing where to be because this is week one, and these guys haven't played at all together in preseason. Now, this is Stoutland University, so I expect these guys to snap out of any rust they may have pretty fast. But I think the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line will always have the advantage no matter who we're going against until I see otherwise. I know we're without Kelsey, but I got a lot of faith in Cam Jurgens. He was drafted for a reason. He does have starting experience. Now, I would be a little iffy about Cam Jurgens if Cam Jurgens was coming to this situation as a rookie taking over for Kelsey. But Cam Jurgens got some starts under his belt playing next to Kelsey, learning the game from Kelsey, learning how to be a pro from Kelsey. As far as Mekhi Becton goes, I'll say Mekhi Becton has all the upside in the world. It just didn't pan out wherever he came from. You know what I'm saying? Mekhi Becton is a high draft pick. Mekhi Becton got the size, athleticism. And, I think the offensive line could, in a lot of ways, now don't listen, this might be a hot take, could be better than the offensive line played last year.
Yeah, I actually might be in line with that, because when you just think about the amount of size they have, right? Again, Mekhi Becton, Lane Johnson, Mailata, Landon Dickerson. Then you got Cam Jurgens. He's younger. And people forget, we actually saw Cam Jurgens play a lot of center in the preseason in his rookie year. He played the entire preseason at center. And we saw flashes of what he's able to do, the ability to get to the second level, the ability to just swing out and just dominate in the open field, with the ball carrier behind him. So I think this offensive line has all the potential in the world to be one of the best, if not the best offensive line in the NFL. Even without Kelsey, I still think this offensive line is top 5. And you said it best, right? Jeff Stoutland University. How much can you really bet against that? And when you have a guy like Mekhi Becton making it very clear about how he's in this, he's never been in a place of peace like this in the NFL. Like, it's so hard to really reach your potential with the Jets. Let's be honest. They're an organization that's kind of always been in their own way. But nonetheless, right? More matchups, just keeping it on the Eagles offense and the Packers defense, right? Some more matchups that do stick out to me is the A.J. Brown, Jair Alexander matchup. Now, Jair Alexander, all-pro, Pro Bowler, we know what he do, right? But we also got a boy in Philly by the name of Arthur Juan Brown that get busy. You feel what I'm saying? So when you think about that matchup and just the overall matchup of our receiving core versus their DBs, how do you process that? How do you think we will fare with that?
I think it's just too much firepower at this point. The Jahan Dotson thing will give me the edge over any secondary in the league. You know what I mean? And just to go back to offensive line a little bit, I will like to say this. We did add a brand new captain to the offensive line room as well, which is giving me more faith. You know what I mean? Jordan Mailata being the captain now lets me know that guys are stepping up on the offensive line in the absence of Kelsey. But, back to wide receiver, A.J. Brown is always going to draw that top guy. You know what I mean? He's always going to draw that top guy. We know that. We know A.J. Brown is the highest graded wide receiver in single man coverage. You can't roll coverage to A.J. Brown no more. That was guys was able to do last year. You roll coverage to AJ, you roll coverage to Smitty, you got to pick your poison. I like our wide receivers against that secondary. Now, they do have McKinney, right, from the Giants now, right?
Yep, they just signed him.
Right, they do have McKinney, who has a lot of experience playing against the Philadelphia Eagles. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure he's dropping some jewels about Saquon, dropping some jewels about Jalen Hurts and his tendencies. But, if you give Jalen Hurts time, it's a wrap. So I expect these guys to, bring pressure, because the stigma right now is that Jalen Hurts can't beat cover 0. But, now we have Kellen Moore. So we got to answer for almost everything that you could do for real. So I like our matchup. I like our wide receivers against their secondary. I like our corners. I'm not going to talk about our corners yet, but I like their corners to be a little overzealous. You know what I mean? It's a lot of big names over there. You got 2 top 100 guys. You got a Jahan Dotson now coming out of the slot. Is Xavier McKinney going to be responsible for Jahan Dotson? That's not really a good matchup to me, for real. And if it is, then that means that's a guy that's occupying, the time of the safety that's supposed to be worrying about being the last line of defense. So it just goes good. It just goes good for us, man. We got to have a game plan that, isolates our guys and put guys in positions to win. Smitty on a linebacker, Dallas Goedert on a linebacker. It's a lot of things we can do to affect the onesies and twosies that they have on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and the thing is, although you hear some names sprinkled on that defense, like I said, Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Xavier McKinney, Jair Alexander. If you want to throw in Eric Stokes in there, sure. I mean, he hasn't really been able to stay on the football field because of health reasons. But the reality is that defense actually was mediocre last year, regardless of the names they did have. That defense in 2023, that Green Bay defense, they were 13th in opponents' points per game or points allowed. They were 13th. They were 22nd in total yards allowed, with allowing 345 yards a game in 2023. They were 28th in rushing yards allowed, damn near dead last in the NFL, right? And they were 13th in pass yards allowed. So that team, with all those names on that defensive line in particular, right, with Quay Walker at linebacker, they couldn't stop the run at all. So now you add in Saquon Barkley into the fold, right? With this offensive line, you got Dallas Goedert blocking, doing his thing. And then you got a young guy like Johnny Wilson, who's very capable of blocking. A.J. Brown is a willing blocker. Devontae Smith is a willing blocker. I think the Philadelphia Eagles game plan on offense, at the very least, in week 1, I think they're going to be Saquon Barkley centric in week 1. What's your thoughts on that?
I think you almost have. So I think you have to involve Saquon Barkley week 1. You know what I mean? You got to keep that defense honest. It's going to be a lot of odds on Saquon Barkley every time he's in the backfield because he is Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley never ran behind an offensive line this good in his National Football League career. For real. So I think you got to kind of feature Saquon Barkley to an extent. But, this is the thing. And I see a guy in the comment section, Jimmy Hoffa. He said, you know what I'm saying? He's saying, oh, we played them last year, this, that, and the third. But this is a different Philadelphia Eagles roster, a differently coached Philadelphia Eagles team. Yeah, you played us last year, buddy. But this is an Eagles team that I'm expecting.
We played them in 2022, not 2023.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
And we smoked you. So what are we talking about?
You know what I mean? We almost broke Aaron Rodgers' ribs. You know what I mean? Whatever you got to do to get the win. But if you're looking at film from last year, you really can't base anything off of what's going to happen this year. I'm expecting the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts to be under center 14 times. We was under center 14 times all of last season. I'm expecting us to be under center 14 times on Friday. You know what I mean? This is a new look Philadelphia Eagles offense. So, whatever you think you played in the past, we can't have any remnants or any scent of being the same team. So, you know what I mean? If it's anything that look the same, then that means Nick Sirianni is still way too much involved because the way Kellen Moore does things is in a way to scheme up guys for matchups. Listen, you played Kellen Moore. I don't know when the last time you went up against Kellen Moore as Green Bay Packers fans, but this is different, man. Kellen Moore got the most cerebral quarterback. Kellen Moore never had this many weapons. Kellen Moore never played with a team that got this much of a new age legacy with him. You know what I mean? This team got pride. So I think it's going to be extremely different. But back to your Saquon question, you got to feature him. That's how you unlock play action. You got to use him in a screen game. You got to put the fear in the heart of these guys. You got to let this offensive line get out and get to the second level.
And another thing about Green Bay, they fired their DC from last year. That's how bad that defense was. Mm-hmm. That's the part that they don't want to talk about, right? You had to fire your DC. I don't care how far you went in the playoffs. I mean, you did well, right? Y'all offense turned up on the back end, but y'all defense was a liability. That's the honest truth.
Who's their new defensive coordinator now?
Brought in this DC from Boston College. You went to college off of your DC. I mean, look, anything can happen. And a lot of the time, the college and the NFL playbook is starting to bleed together nowadays. But you mean to tell me I'm supposed to be remotely nervous about a defense with a new DC, and y'all coming off of a season where y'all defense wasn't respectable at all? And on top of that, the Philadelphia Eagles offense was still top 10 through all the struggles. That's another part that we talked about. The offense was still top 10 through all the struggles they had. Listen to this real quick, LB, because this is the part that people got to understand. And look, 2023 stats are 2023, but that's all we have as of right now until the season gets a little bit deeper into the mud here. But think about this. Through all the struggles, the Eagles offense still top 10. They were ranked 7th in scoring, 9th in total yards per game, and 9th in rushing yards. Now, the passing offense was pretty mediocre because of the incongruency between head coach and quarterback, because of the lack of answers, because of the fact that teams were literally all out blitzing the Philadelphia Eagles, and Nick Sirianni had no answers for his quarterback and no answers for his personnel. And the reality is Jalen Hurts had to carry that offense and had to really rely strictly on talent with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and those guys. So this is a new look offense. This is an offense with somebody who actually knows what they're doing, who's very creative. Mm-hmm. You said it earlier. Kellen Moore exploits matchups. That's how the Dallas Cowboys have had 2 number 1 offense through his tenure. So we got to be honest about what it is. And both defenses in this game have a lot to prove. Eagles defense and Packers defense alike.
I agree with that. And also another caveat that people are not talking about with this game right here is this will be the first game in Jalen Hurts' career where he's calling his own protections. You know what I mean? So the game should look so much different. He's calling his own protections. Kelsey has been calling a protection for the last 10 years as the center for the Philadelphia Eagles, almost every quarterback that, he has snapped the ball to. You know what I mean? Whether it was Nick Foles, whoever it was, Kelsey was responsible for calling the protections. Jalen Hurts is an elite quarterback in the National Football League. Probably the only elite one that didn't call his protections due to the greatness of his center. So now Jalen Hurts has added responsibility. You know what I mean? He has things that he looks for now, the pre-snap motion. A lot of people are not talking about that. The pre-snap motion will answer questions for Jalen Hurts before the ball is even snapped, whether the defense is in man, whether the defense is in zone. That's mainly what pre-snap motion is for, to uncover, a little bit of the disguise that's in front of the quarterback. So this will be totally new from last year. The stigma that Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball or run an offense is because, listen, man, this is the thing. If you are, what's going on, Symone? If you
what's up?
If you are asked to, say you work an hour away, you know what I mean? And you like, yo, you work an hour away, we'll pay you this amount of money to get to your job, but you got to walk there. You're going to be tired every day before you get there. If that's the game plan for getting to work is walking there, you already got to prepare yourself to walk. Jalen Hurts had to prepare himself to run a stubborn offense that would not tackle the middle of the field, that would not diffuse a zero blitz. He was already, once if you dealt a certain hand, you got to play it.
Exactly.
Kellen Moore is here to give Jalen Hurts a better hand to play. So this offense better look different, in my opinion.
Symone, welcome to the show. Y'all already know what it is, y'all. It's the Link Up, and Symone Stanley is probably in the building. I hope. Let me see them nails, girl. Let me see him. Let me see them nails. Let me see him.
Them Brazil ones. Them
Brazil tips. I love it.
Right.
For the jungle, because everybody swearing I'm about to be going to. They act like I'm going to Iran or something. Like,
no, that's how they acted. That's the talk right now. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, sheesh, good Lord. You would think I was going to Iraq.
Right. I put up a tweet, man. I said, hey, y'all gotta be careful, man. They'll line you up over there. Don't get lined.
LB, you scared him. You scared him.
Hey, man, I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. Especially the fellas, you go into a bar, shorty have a third leg. Don't get lined. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Don't get lined.
Here's the thing, bro. Like, I've been hearing a lot of people say, why are you guys talking about Brazil that way? That's ignorant, it's disrespectful. Here's my thing, right? And they kept comparing it to Philly. They kept saying the crime rate is high in Philly. Y'all playing Philly. What's the problem? First of all, born and raised in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
The crime rate being high is not the problem. It's the fact that the matter is the crime rate high, and I don't know what they're saying. That's the problem.
This the
I
biggest.
Don't speak language, so I don't know the towns. LB,
right. That's the biggest point. This is the biggest point when you're going to. I don't know if Brazil is considered a third world country. I've been to a third world country.
It's not a third. It's a developing.
All right. It's developing. That's cool. The ones that's developing, 9 times out of 10, they be scheming. I'm telling you, they'll pull you over and take you to the police station and be like, "We're not gonna lock you up, but I need $1,000." That's the type of stuff you're running into if you're a tourist out there. You know what I mean? So you just gotta be on your P's and Q's, man. That's
you don't know the laws.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you got 10%, 20%, 30% street smarts, you should be all right. But if you're running around there thinking that you Alice in the Wonderland, you're gonna be missing a wallet, you're gonna be missing a passport, somebody rub up against you, having a conversation, everything missing out your pocket. You just gotta be careful, bro. That's all I was saying.
I definitely don't have nobody. Well, I'm not there yet, y'all. Because some people in the chat, y'all know this background. Y'all thought I brought this background with me to Brazil. But I'm still at home. But one thing for sure, I obviously not bringing anything. I don't even have anything worth stealing at home. But I'm definitely not bringing anything that I wouldn't want to get stolen.
Exactly.
But yeah, obviously head on a swivel. I mean, I live in Atlanta. Head on a swivel in Atlanta. Even when you park at the light, you gotta have your head on the swivel because it be finesses at the light. So I'm gonna be all right.
No, we know you're gonna be all right.
For sure, you're gonna be good. Now that you're here, me and LB, we got into the offensive side for the Eagles and we talked about the Packers defense, Symone. And I gotta ask you, right? When you think about the Eagles offense going up against this defense, where do you think the advantages can be had for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Our offense versus their defense, or our defense, their offense?
Our offense versus their defense. Where do the Philadelphia Eagles have the leg up? How can they take advantage of this Packers defense that's still proving themselves because they were pretty mediocre last year?
I feel like picking apart them DBs, picking apart them corners. Like AJ Brown, we added some pieces, but that AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, that connection is still there. So I feel like picking apart them DBs, but also the run game. Like we saw in the preseason games, like just besides the last preseason game. The first 2 preseason games, we saw how like the run blocking was looking solid with our second string O-line and some practice squad running backs. So like really getting the run game going with Saquon, with the big dogs up front, I feel like I'm really confident in our offense. I feel like the offense is going to be good. The defense, that's the side of the ball where I'm like, okay, how good can we be week 1? Because offensively, I feel like we can always fall back on the talent week 1. I mean, Jalen's back healthy. We know AJ versus anybody. We taking AJ. Devontae going to get his. So I feel like we can rely on our talent on offense, but the defense got to be on their P's and Q's. We can't rely on just talent on defense. Not that we don't have talent on defense, but that communication, everything has to be there. So that's where I'm going to really be like, holding my breath, child. I'm not even going to say it because they're going to be mad in the comments when I say, what I want to say. But
we're going to get into the defense real quick. Now that you laid out some of the advantages, right? How do you think the Philadelphia Eagles start this game? And what I mean by that is, what do you think is going to be their focal point? What do you think is going to be their ultimate goal? Do you think they're going to be Saquon heavy? Do you think they're going to rely on the passing game to set up the run? What do you think Kellen Moore's plan of action is going to be going up against this defense?
I hope it's going to be through the run. Like, we got Saquon Barkley. We've been seeing what he's been doing at practice. We've been hearing, like, Nick Sirianni in his press conference today was just going on and on about Saquon at practice and all the cuts and just having everybody gagged on the sidelines. Setting up the run, getting the run going, that's just going to make everything easier for everybody else. So I just feel like we can't shy away. Yeah, we have all these weapons. We got all these dogs downfield, but let's not let that get us too excited and let that get away from the bread and butter, which is Saquon Barkley in this run game.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now that you brought it up, when it comes to the defense, let's transition to that side of the ball because I think that's where most of the question marks lie. I said to LB before you came on, both of these teams have defenses that are questionable. When you look at it at face value on paper, you see talent sprinkled on both defenses, but they both have something to prove. But when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles defense, right, let's just start in the trenches. Let's start with the defensive line. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat. In theory, those are your starting guys. They're going to be going up against an offensive line in the Packers that's pretty average at best. They have about 2 or 3 new offensive linemen. They're going to be starting a rookie at right guard who they drafted at left tackle. And they haven't really announced who their right guard is going to be, but every depth chart that I'm checking has this guy named Jordan Morgan out of Arizona, right? I think the Philadelphia Eagles should be able to exploit their interior, right? Just how the Philadelphia Eagles got two new guys starting on the offensive line at center and right guard. When it comes to this Packers offensive line, they got 2 new guys out there and Jordan Morgan. And they got the kid Rasheed Walker, who's young, came in last year picking up for the left tackle. They moved on from is it Bakhtiari, the guy he keep getting hurt. David. But the bottom line is, how do you see Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis being able to wreck this game?
I don't think it'll be much on those guys to wreck the game. You know what I mean? I think that Jalen Carter is going to get doubled from first game of the season. Jalen Carter's going to have to work extra hard for everything he get because of who he is. It's on those other guys to win their matchups. You know what I mean? You know what Jalen Carter is going to bring to the table. That means that a lot of people are going to be one-on-one. There's a couple guys that I believe are almost unblockable one-on-one on this team, but they got to be on the field. You know, Jordan Davis should be unblockable at this point in his career, one-on-one, how big he is. Milton Williams is unblockable one-on-one. I think BG is primed for a really, really good year. And Sweat and Huff, those are guys who are above average off the edge for real, if we keep it solid. Jalen Carter's job is to soak up a double team so everybody else can eat. Now, at the end of the day, it's up to Vic Fangio to see how he's going to bring this pressure because a lot of the times bringing 4 is not enough. So Vic Fangio is going to have to be able to scheme ways to, affect that gap where that rookie is starting at right guard. Send a blitz through there, send some stunts, things of that nature. So Vic Fangio, with the creativity and the way that he brings the blitz, along with these blitzing linebackers that we have, like Nakobe Dean and Devin White, that are going to be able to find these alleys and avenues that the defensive line creates. I think that the best case scenario for the Philadelphia Eagles defense is to bring hell upon Jordan Love. He's a stationary target. Go out there and get after him with creative blitzes and things of that nature. But it all has to be catapulted from the D-line to answer your question. Mm-hmm. Very important role for the D-line this week.
Facts.
Yeah, Love can get mobile too, by the way. He can get a little bit mobile. And I think that's why that offensive line looked a little bit better than what they really were last year. His ability to be elusive, his ability to make things happen outside of the pocket made life way easier for that offensive line that, quite frankly, on paper is very mediocre. They're not even a top 10 offensive line. That's pretty much their weakness on the offensive side. Symone, what's your thoughts on the trenches?
I agree. We got to get that pressure up front. Like you said, offensive line, solid offensive line for the Packers. But that pressure has to come up front. Like, we have to set the tone early. We saw last year one of our biggest issues. We had the stars up front. We had names up front. But we just couldn't hit home. Everybody just had so much time. Like, defensive breakdowns was happening because these quarterbacks just had so much time back there. Like, we can't have a repeat of that this season. And it starts week 1. We had to hit home. We can't just have Jordan Love sitting back there having 30 seconds to throw the ball.
I agree. And I see people in the chat saying this ain't Sean Desai or Matt Patricia. I agree with that. I don't think Fangio was just going to sit back there and let a quarterback cook us. He not. And if he don't bring a blitz, dude's going to be pressing. So wide receivers are going to have to win off of the edge. You got Slay. You know what I'm saying? You got Isaiah Rodgers. You got Quinyon Mitchell. Guys should have a difficult time coming off of the line of scrimmage if you play press with those type of cornerbacks. You know, it just is what it is. But what we have to do is we have to bring pressure. You got to bring pressure. I'm going to keep it a beam, man. The defense ass until I see otherwise. The Eagles defense is ass until I see otherwise. I don't care who get mad. I don't care who don't want to talk to me this season. Last year was atrocious. What you going to do? All you could do is perform better. I'm getting mad talking about it. Because if we go over to Brazil, and guys act like they don't want to tackle or whatever the case may be, they all need to be packed up. This is a Super Bowl window we talking about here. I want to see aggressiveness. I want to see ferociousness. You brought back Gardner Johnson because that's his nature. But is that everybody else's nature, though? You just can't have one dog out of 11. You know what I'm saying? You can't have one angry dog out of 11. I think Gardner Johnson bring the best side of Blankenship. You know what I'm saying? I think Quinyon Mitchell, not to go all over the place with I'm pretty sure we was going to talk about that, but I can't help it. I'm getting flashbacks of how ass they were. They got to tighten up. They better tighten up.
One dog don't make a pound.
It don't.
That's true. That's
true.
But I will say,
when that one dog show out, he the one that end up getting sold. And the pound is that much weaker. He the one that end up getting sent away because he the one showing out. All the dogs need to show out. The Georgia Bulldogs, all of them need to show out. You know what I'm saying? Especially the Georgia Bulldogs. Right now it's looking like a Georgia Bulldog.
They play on Saturday at whatever their little field is. They need to act like it's Saturday in Athens. That's what we need them to play like. Like, you take the
exactly right. You know, we got a bulldog and a couple puppies.
But here's the thing,
right? The rest of them need to grow up.
We have to set the tone. I'm talking play 1. Like, and not to be dramatic, because this isn't just week 1 for any old team. This isn't just week 1. We lost 5 out of our last 6 games. We were the laughing stock. We couldn't say nothing to the haters. We was a joke. We was a laughing stock. We had all that talent. We was getting whooped around, thrown around, tossed around, clowned, trash talked to by players, by media. There was nothing we could say. If they aren't like fired up and ready to prove themselves every single snap, I'm talking about every single player on this team. Like, if they aren't fired up to make a statement week 1, the way we ended last season,
it's going to get ugly. It's going to get dark. That, you know, the one thing we're going to see week 1 is the heart. We're going to see the heart week 1.
Yes, and
we're going to see the heart week 1. Because you can lose and play with great heart. We're going to see, you know what I mean? We're going to see heart week 1.
You mentioned, right, CJGJ, we got one dog, and you said one dog don't make a pound, but one dog don't make a pound, right? But here's the thing, right? When you really like that, you can't be around people that ain't.
Right.
They can't breathe the air you breathe. They can't walk on the same soil that you walk on. You feel what I'm saying? So when you set the tone like that, when you set the energy, and that's why I'm so glad we got CJGJ when we did. He was here for all of, OTAs and mandatory minicamp and, training camp preseason. He was able to really set the tone all throughout the offseason and made it very clear what his expectations is. And we've been hearing GJ talk, all through our social media and through all that kind of stuff. And look, talk is cheap, but at the end of the day, we know who this man is. We know how he moves, we know how he plays, we know the mentality he got. And he's the type of brother that you can't be around me if you're not in that type of time. If you're not ready to kill, you can't be around me. If you're not ready to turn up and smack people upside the head, put the ski mask on and tell them, give me everything you got, then you can't be around me. So I think that's the energy he bringing. I think it will translate. Now, will everybody respond to that? I think they will. They was talking to Quinyon Mitchell in this press conference, right? And they said, is there any, the environment, is there any sort of nerves, anything you're worried about? He was like, nah, I'd be cool. I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? I was just looking at this brother, like just body language, the way he talked, the way he carried himself. There's an energy about him, right? That calmness, that confidence. And also, with all the disruption about people going to Brazil, I love what Jalen Hurts did in his press conference. They asked him, how do you feel about going to Brazil? Remember Slay wasn't really happy about it. We know Devontae wasn't happy about it. He said no comment. AJ said what he said, and he did what leaders do. He said, you know what, this is a great opportunity for us. This is a great opportunity to grow the game. It's a great opportunity for us to really show what we can do on the international stage. He really just put out all those flames of discomfort that maybe existed in the building. But again, I think the confidence is high. They just waiting to prove it.
Right. I think the confidence is high too. I think they're done talking. You know what I mean? You gotta think about it. Jalen Hurts played in the national championship game. He won he's a national champion. You know what I mean? Smitty, Heisman winner. You know what I mean? AJ Brown has been on a career tear since coming over to the Philadelphia Eagles. Mind you, all three of the players I just named also played in the Super Bowl before. It's a certain pedigree on this football team, whether you want to believe it or not. You know what I mean? The offensive line. A lot of them guys been in the Super Bowl. Lane won a Super Bowl. So you got to really think about who on this team. The stats and all of that stuff don't matter no more. What matters is winning the Super Bowl.
And they all got something to prove.
That's what I'm saying. And that's the only thing left to prove. This is a hot take right here. I want y'all to clip this and send it to me if you're in the chat. I want to re-put this on Twitter as soon as possible. The Philadelphia Eagles, the one mistake I think they made in the offseason. Now, I don't know this guy's personal mindset or how he is around the players outside of football. I've had some conversations with him, offline. CJ Gardner-Johnson should have been made a captain. I will say this because they will follow somebody who will run through a wall. They will follow a player like CJ Gardner-Johnson. That's the type of guy that you make a captain. You know what I mean? It's not because of you don't think he got the qualities. You got to make Gardner-Johnson a captain, whether he like it or not. You got to let him understand the responsibility that he has. Some guys you just got to throw in that position because you see something in him that they might not see in themselves. He might not even have shown captain traits, bro. He might not even want to be a captain. You know what I mean? But some people you just got to make a captain, and he will. The leadership qualities that he naturally got, like pulling guys to the side, getting guys together, that goes up times 10 because he wear that C. He'll wear it proud. I think they should have made that dude the captain, bro.
Yeah, I'm kind of shook that he wasn't. Like, when we literally brought him back for his vocalness, his leadership, all of that on that side of the ball, I'm surprised he wasn't named the captain. If I'm GJ, I'm feeling disrespected.
Exactly. And a lot of people want to take, Devontae Smith getting his seat taken away from him. Smitty ain't that type of guy. You know what I mean? Smitty ain't that. Smitty going to beat work. Listen, whether Smitty a captain or not, all eyes going to be on Smitty. Mm-hmm. All eyes going to be on Smitty. Every wide receiver we bring in the building, that's Devontae Smith. This is the work ethic, how he prepare. You know what I mean? He already a captain. So him having it on his chest don't mean nothing. It don't change the way he prepared, nothing.
And
but CJ Gardner-Johnson, that's
those captain patches are given out to, just to add context, right? Because I agree with everything y'all saying. Those captains are voted on by their peers, by their teammates. Right. So, okay. I mean, I don't know what it was with Smitty. I don't know what that was about. But it seems like the Eagles only had, 5 captains in total, right? It's Hurts, Mailata, Lane, Slay. Who else after that? BG, right?
BG, and I think a kicker. I think it's a kicker.
Elliott.
Mailata, did you get him?
Yeah.
So
BG a captain too.
It was 6. Okay, so yeah. Hurts, Brown, Mailata, Lane, BG, Jake Elliott, Slay. So that's 7, right? Yeah, that's 7.
Right.
So they got 7 captains. Me personally, I feel like you need another one on defense. You need another one on defense.
I do. So this is the thing. You don't need 2 wide receiver captains.
Yes.
You really never needed that. You really don't. You don't need 2 wide receiver captains. And Smitty getting his seat taken away from him. I don't think you need 2 on the offensive line, to be honest. But Mailata is probably really showing something that that says, "Hey, I deserve it." The only person that should always be a captain is your franchise quarterback.
I feel like they do AJ and Smitty because they just feel like they have to do them both, so it won't look like one is better than the other. So they always just do them as a combo.
But now they both paid. Now they both paid. They did right by both of them. You know what I mean? Listen, you take a guy's C away and pay him, I guarantee he'll take the payday every time. The C means nothing. Exactly. They're just spreading around a little love.
Exactly. So let me ask you this real quick, right? Let's keep this thing going. Just getting back to the defensive side, right? That Packers offense, they got some weapons in there, right? They got guys like Romeo Doubs. They have Jaden Reed, I believe. They got Christian Watson. They got the 2 tight ends, Kraft and Musgrave. And last season they had 7 pass catchers average 10 yards or more per catch. That offense was pretty explosive. And Jordan Love was able to throw for 4,000 yards without a single 1,000-yard receiver. So that passing game knows how to get it going. And Matt LaFleur knows how to scheme his guys open. So I ask you guys this. Who's the biggest threat not named Jordan Love in the Packers offense?
Christian.
You think it's Christian Watkins?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs.
Forgot about him. Is the other running back playing? Because I saw he was injured. AJ
Dillon out for the season. They got the other kid, Emmanuel Watson, who only got 14 touches, unproven. And they got this other kid, Marshawn Lloyd, who's a rookie, unproven as well. So outside of Josh Jacobs, it's completely finito. So they are literally Josh Jacobs or bust. And Josh Jacobs is used to carrying the workload. But here's the caveat about Josh Jacobs that needs to be talked about a little bit more, right? When it comes to Josh Jacobs, the reality is, he had that amazing 2022 season, right? He led the league in rushing, had over 1,600 rushing yards. He had that on 340 carries, and he had over 370 total touches in 2022. He took a major step back in 2023, and that 1,600-yard production was cut in half. He only had 805 yards on the ground on 233 carries and averaged 3.5 yards per rush. So now I ask, right, which Josh Jacobs did the Packers pay for? Is this the beginning of the downslope for Josh Jacobs? And look, I'm not trying to say he's not a good player. I think Josh Jacobs is a great running back, but I think it's something to be said about a guy who came off a season with that much of a workload, and then the following season he took such a major step back as far as production, and now he goes to a new franchise, and there's nobody behind him that they trust like him.
Mm-hmm. So I think that they're not going to even use him the way that the Raiders was using him in 2022. He's not going to have that many touches anywhere else. You got an offense that's pass heavy first. This is the thing. What Josh Jacobs is here to do is to set up the play action. If we cannot stop Josh Jacobs and Josh Jacobs continues to have these guys in third and short, he's effective.
Their whole offense is play action based. Their whole offense, because they live in 12 personnel. If you can stop that run, like you said, you limit Josh Jacobs. That completely neutralizes Jordan Love's superpower, because they murdered the Cowboys in play action, destroyed them.
Exactly, but Aaron Jones was effective. He scored twice. Aaron Jones was catching the ball. Aaron Jones was running really, really hard. So I think if you can stop Josh Jacobs, I honestly, it ain't even really about stopping Josh Jacobs. You just got to have great eye discipline. You know what I mean? Because play action can still be effective if you're not feeding the running back the ball. It's the fear of Josh Jacobs getting off that can make play action effective. I think it's a mixture of stopping Josh Jacobs and eye discipline. I would think that those are, the biggest concerns or the biggest factors or the must stops that the Philadelphia Eagles should have.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping on Josh because wasn't everybody bad on the Raiders? Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like
Max Crosby still got his. Devontae still got his. I mean, I don't know. But
that's
I feel
true.
It's a bad team. I feel you.
It's hard to judge somebody. I mean, pound for pound, we know what Josh Jacobs can do.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm not going to be like, oh, he might not be the Josh Jacobs in the past. Same thing I wanted to say about Dalvin Cook on the little boys. You know what I mean? But I can't judge off, one iffy season. Right. But shoot, like you said, LB, I mean, if we can't stop the run, then we can't stop GELs. Like, a lot is going to be on the D line. Like, when it comes to
it get dark.
Here you go, Lord Jesus.
It get dark. It get dark. You can't stop the run. But this is the thing, though. I'm looking for us to be way better, though, because we have the linebackers who can shoot the gap and who can help out with the run. You got Devin White. Vaughn is solid at tackling against the run, and you got this new revamped Nakobe Dean situation. So I think we will be better at stopping the run this year and running from sideline to sideline. I think we'll be better.
I think this is the perfect game to find out. Again, I know this isn't. The season is going to continue to develop, and they're going to continue to make adjustments, right? But I really think, just in terms of matchup, just player for player, I think this is the perfect game to find out where the DBs are as far as how they move, how they handle these young, spry wide receivers that's quick. They have great release. They get off the line of scrimmage quickly. They can run routes. They know how to get open. And I think it's a great game to find out where this defensive line is and the linebackers are when it comes to picking up the run. I mean, I just think this is a great matchup. You're going to get a playoff team. I need to know early how you fare against a team that was just in the divisional round, pushing the San Francisco 49ers to the brink. I need to know how you fare. This is the perfect game for me to find out who Quinyon Mitchell is.
Because they got the wide receivers and they use their slot guy too a lot. So you're right. It is a perfect game to find out what we have on the defensive side of the ball for sure. But I wouldn't be surprised if the offense dropped 30. Yeah, that's what's weird about this game. I wouldn't be surprised if the offense legitimately dropped 30. It's just too much firepower. But I'll tell y'all what I don't want to see. I don't want to see the design runs by Jalen Hurts, even though I know it's a part of the offense. I know we can't get away from it. I don't want to see it. It's no need.
I'm cool off of it too. You got Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. We don't need that. Like, we got Saquon. Jalen just coming off of a season where he was banged up. We need to bottle up that health that we have and keep it flowing. Sadly, it's going to be a part of it. They already done said it multiple times.
I just
maybe they're saying it. Maybe they're just saying it to throw folks off. Yeah. Maybe.
It just got to make sense, Symone. It just got to make sense when they do it. It can't just be you just burying that, you killing that horse is dead. You feel what I'm saying? You still beating the motherfucker. Like I need them to just be a little bit more judicial about how they use that, right? Yeah. Catch a team off guard, right? Feed Saquon, feed Kenny Gain. With Kenny Gain, all of a sudden Hurts pull and he get like a 10, 15-yard gainer. Like, just be a little modest about it. They leaned on it so much last year.
This is my thing. It don't even really got to be designed. If a play break down, or if somebody lose track of them, because everybody will be occupied with the weapons that we got. You know what I mean? You could be in man coverage chasing all these wide receivers around, not even looking at the quarterback, and next you know he's running somewhere. I know y'all say it's been multiple plays where scrambling quarterbacks take off with the ball running while cornerbacks are still guarding the wide receiver. They have no idea to do that and took off and running. So it's just Jalen Hurts going to get his rushing yards regardless. I just don't want it. I don't want him to get hurt, man. That's what I'm worried about.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I know this football.
I don't like how the Packers are coming into the season and coming into this game with so much optimism, which I understand. I mean, they went on a little, nobody thought, we knew because we know the little boys, but, statistically, nobody had them whooping the little boys like that. You know what I'm saying? They played above themselves, above what we thought they could do, Jordan Love. So they're coming into this game. If I'm a Packers fan, I'm coming into this season hype. Like, dang,
as they should.
As they should. We dog walked the little boys. We had San Fran on the ropes. Like, I'm feeling good. Jordan Love, new season, got some rooks, got Josh Jacobs. Yeah. Meanwhile, I feel like we're coming into this game like we bet not lose, which is more pressure. And sometimes when you have more pressure, you can try to overcompensate and you could try to do too much. So that's one thing that I'm a little bit worried about from that standpoint. Second of all, we'll see when we get there, but everybody want to say Green Bay in Brazil. Green Bay has like a big fan base in Brazil. Now I'll see when I get there. You know what I'm saying? We'll see when we get there. A little knockoff Eagles jersey, a little knockoff Green Bay jersey probably look like the same color.
Right? How they talking about Green Bay got a fan base in Brazil?
That's what they keep saying. But
I heard it's a lot of Eagles fans out here. That's what I heard. I heard Eagles fans everywhere out there.
When the game was announced, it was saying like how big the fan base was. The Packers fan base is over there. So
This was strategic marketing. You got to have a team like Philly and Green Bay in a game like this where you debut in a new country. You want to know why? Because the Packers fans and the Eagles fans are some of the best traveling fans in the league. So people are going to spend a lot of money. The city is going to make a lot of money. This game is like a mini Super Bowl for them. The Packers ain't got no damn big fan base in Brazil. The fan base is coming to the game.
Listen,
because they travel.
Symone, you mentioned a little earlier about pressure, right? And how both fan bases kind of feel respectively about their own teams. Me personally, I think the pressure's all on Green Bay. I think the pressure's all on Jordan Love. Here's why. You know, they're coming off of a run. They're coming off of a season where their team or their fan base is really expecting them to really just take off this year, right? Jordan Love just got the big contract. You brought in Josh Jacobs. You feel what I'm saying? Like that receiving core is another year wiser. I think there's so much pressure on that quarterback, so much pressure on that head coach just to get it done. Because of how far they made it last year, how they beat up on the Cowboys, how they pushed the San Francisco 49ers to the brink, right? I think all the pressure's on them. When you think about the Philadelphia Eagles side of things, Jalen Hurts, he's a whole year and a half removed away from the money, right? They done already been to the lowest of the low. They done already experienced the lowest of lows when it comes to losing and the collapse, and they've experienced that dark side of the game before. Jordan Love and those boys, they ain't experienced that yet. So I think these guys coming in, the Eagles that is, they're lighter. They playing with house money. They feel like we so far removed from that, and it happened. In my opinion, that collapse was like a wake-up call. Like, damn, hold on, wait, anybody can get touched. Shit, we ain't as perfect as we thought. You know what I'm saying? Talent not enough. So I think they just come in lighter. I think they come in with a freed mindset. Like, you know what? We know what we are. We know what we're capable of. Like, we done been through the fire. Like Jalen Hurts said, you know, I didn't walk through the smoke, or I didn't walk through the fire, just smell the smoke. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I just think so much pressure's on Jordan Love with that new contract. He's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Let's be honest about this too, right? I know a lot of people are smoking the Jordan Love pack. I get it. They love it, right? It's burning well. You feel what I'm saying? It smells good, right? But the reality is this, that they don't want to really talk about, especially the Packers fan base. As quick as they love you, they can hate you. We seen Jalen Hurts go through that. Jalen Hurts was the darling after that Super Bowl, wasn't he? Oh, man, is Jalen Hurts top 5, top 3? Is Jalen Hurts, you know, the second best quarterback in the NFL? He pushed Patrick Mahomes. I mean, But now Jordan Love, he's the man of the hour, right? They love that man. Jordan Love, I love his game, that 9-game stretch. Look what he did to the Cowboys. They love him.
The Cowboys got him paid.
But guess what? As quick as they love you, they will hate you. Jordan Love, brother, if you're watching, you probably not, but I hope you is. Your fan base, they'll tell you.
You never know who.
Don't have a bad game. Don't have a slow start to your season. Don't go 10-7. Don't go 9-8. They will flip on you, brother. Just ask Jalen Hurts. So that's why I feel like the pressure's on that man. Jalen Hurts is so removed.
I think the pressure a little even. I ain't gonna lie. I think it's 50-50 with the pressure, Tone. Everything you said about Jordan Love, I believe that. I believe it's pressure on Jordan Love.
He better not.
I believe
He better not.
He better not. I believe
if we smoke them, real quick, LB, know what you cook. If we smoke them, or if he have a bad game, you know what they're gonna say on Monday?
They're gonna say he overpaid.
Is Jordan Love worth the contract?
Right. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
You don't want that talk to start, Green Bay. You don't want that.
Go ahead, Symone.
They said wake LB up.
Wake me up. What you mean? I've been there. You can't see. What you talking about?
They ain't slick.
They said he was dozing off over there.
Those and all. Hey, cut it out. But this is the thing now. This is the thing. I think that it's enough pressure to go along. You know what I'm saying? You could spread this out evenly, because all season they've been trying to say is Jalen Hurts a one-hit wonder. You know what I'm saying? All season they've been trying to say the defense is bad. So I think it's pressure on Fangio to show that he turned things around. I think it's pressure on Devin White to show that he still got some shove. Listen, if Devin White have a bad season, it's done. It's up for Devin White. It's up for Devin White. His days are done getting the big contract if he have a bad season. You know what I mean? It's a lot of pressure on a lot of these guys, man. It's a lot of pressure, enough pressure to be spread around, bro. I'll tell you that. This Eagles offense got a lot of pressure to perform. They stacked.
Yeah.
It's big contracts all up and down at
They're
all.
not even calling us a playoff team, LB. I didn't see so many reports, bro. They don't even think we're making the playoffs.
But we have the most pressure. Like going into this game, going into this season, nobody cares what the Packers are doing. All respect to the Packers. Like the Packers are a middle of the pack team where it's like, oh, they might can make some noise or they might not. Everybody is looking at us. We had the biggest collapse in NFL history. We just paid Jalen Hurts had an amazing season.
Mm-hmm.
He had 3 shaky seasons. Everybody's saying, is Jalen Hurts a one-hit wonder if he's not? We paid Saquon Barkley all that money to come over here, which I think he deserves, but it's all the looks on. Okay, we added another star to a team that couldn't do a goddamn thing with all the goddamn stars they had last season. Now y'all add another star. You add Jahan Dotson. You upgrade wide receiver 3. You add Saquon. Can Saquon stay healthy? Did the linebackers upgrade? They drafted all them Georgia boys, and they said they was going to do all this with them Georgia boys, and we haven't heard nothing from them Georgia boys. When we drafted all them Georgia boys, we was banging and beating on our chest. We got the whole defense from the daddy team. We got the Kobe Dean. We got Jordan Davis. We got Jalen Carter. We got
Let me ask y'all a question.
We was all beating and banging on our chest. Well, come on now.
It's pressure on Kellen Moore too.
But let me ask you this.
We got Keely. We was all popping our sheet. We ain't did a goddamn thing with them Georgia boys. We did not a goddamn thing with that roster last season. We have all the pressure. Everybody is tuning in on Friday night to get a great laugh at watching us lose again.
Which is why there's no pressure.
Or
what you mean? That's pressure.
No, hear me out.
Let me finish. Everybody is watching for us. Nobody is watching the Packers. The haters are watching to see us lose and say, y'all spent all that money.
Okay.
Nobody is watching this game for the Packers. Everybody wants to see, is Jalen Hurts a bust? Is Saquon going to change anything? Nobody is watching this game for the Packers. We have all the pressure. If the Packers win or lose, they won't be the headline the next day on First Take. The headline is going to be the Eagles still suck, or are the Eagles better again? We are the headline.
Right. If we go, this is the thing. If we go out there and smoke the Packers, they're gonna be talking Super Bowl. If the Packers come out here and smoke us, they're gonna be talking Super Bowl for the Packers. That's how you know who got the pressure. They're not talking Super Bowl for the Packers.
Yo, they already hold on. Wait, time's out. I don't know. Maybe we're not saying the same stuff. I'm seeing people predicting the Packers going to the conference game. I see people making prediction Packers, Green Bay versus Ravens in the. I'm seeing all that. I'm not saying the Eagles in the conference game.
That's because the Packers got a big fan base. So Joe Schmo in his basement in Wisconsin could be making them type of posts. Yeah, understand the Packers are they one of them ones. You know what I mean? I think they might got the oldest standing original stadium in the game. The Packers are cemented.
I don't buy into national talk, but I'm talking nationally, right?
Oh, nationally? Okay.
I'm talking nationally, bro. I think Shannon Sharp got the Packers and the Ravens going to the Super Bowl, and he got the Ravens beating them. Like I'm seeing national people wax poetic about the Green Bay Packers, and you know what I'm hearing them say? They got Saquon Barkley, but you know they had all those guys last year. You know, so you know I'm saying people don't they ain't got the Eagles as a playoff team. I'm saying people say they're not winning the division. I was just watching NFL Network. Kyle Brandt, Donovan got us making the playoffs. Like, and look, their opinion is not law.
Kyle Brandt, the Eagles fan?
Yes, he got the Cowboys winning the division. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to again put it in perspective. I understand that we are I don't know. You can argue who's the bigger brand, but I just feel like based off everything I've seen on the national level, because I watch everybody, I study everybody, and I'm telling you, and I'm not denying what y'all saying. There's pressure on the Eagles in its own way, but I'm telling you, they are riding high. They smoking on this Green Bay pack. They loving it, man. It's moving in the streets.
They smoking that pack at the expense of us because they hate to. One thing we all agree on: they hate to see us win. They don't like us.
That's true too.
I think this goes to my point. The pressure.
So people are going to be picking the Packers, and people are saying we're not making the playoffs just to rile us up and get us to make our little videos and get us to comment and all that stuff. But what I'm saying,
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
Pound for pound, take the national media out of it. Take everything out of it. If we look at last season, we had a disappointing season with a talented roster. We wasted our talent last season. Yeah. We had a very disappointing season. We were a team that came in with a Super Bowl expectations, and we couldn't score 13 points against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in round 1 of the playoffs. This offseason, we load up even more. Reload, trigger. You know what I'm saying? Load that G back up. If we not firing and spraying, it's going to be an issue. That's all I'm saying. We have way more talent than the Packers.
We do.
Way more talent than the Packers. In the past 4 years, we've had higher expectations than the Packers. So we have more pressure to win this game. Same way San Fran has more pressure to win their little game. Same way Ravens have more pressure this season than the other teams. Same way the Chiefs have more pressure. We have more pressure than the Packers coming into this game. Is all.
I agree. And you know what? We could talk about the offense and the pieces added. The biggest piece that was added to the Philadelphia Eagles was Kellen Moore. That was the biggest piece added. Kellen Moore has a responsibility to go out there and cook. It's a mismatch on the schedule every week, and Kellen Moore got to exploit it like he's been doing. So I ain't worried about the offense, bro. I think Kellen Moore gonna call a crazy game, dog. He gonna call a lot of crazy games.
Yeah, I feel that. So y'all, you know, we getting ready to close the show. We appreciate y'all for liking on the content. We want to get to the super chats real quick before we get out of here. So let's get this done real quick. So the first one came by way from our man Anthony Perry. He said it's survival, hungry time. Go Birds! Shout out to my man Ant Perry. Appreciate him with the $2 super chat.
Appreciate you, Ant.
All right, LB, you want to read the next one?
War V with the $4.99. He said, man, Packers got a first year DC. We should cook. Offense should carry us. It may be a shootout game. He might be right.
I like that, War V.
Right.
Yeah, because both defenses got something to prove. Both defenses got something to prove. Both offenses can put up numbers. For sure.
Offense.
Shout out to Word V. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the love.
For me.
Symone, you want to read this one?
Anthony Crowbot, getting the run going early is a no-brainer. It'll unlock everything downfield. Our concern is having to rely on 4-man fronts to stop their run. I don't know if we got the size to do it all game.
We gonna see.
Tuesday, we about to find out. Tuesday evening, they boarding their flight. I thought they would have been flew over there by now.
Yeah,
the Birds they fly tomorrow.
They fly tomorrow morning. They fly tomorrow morning because they want to.
Let me find out we on the same flight. I'm just kidding.
you on the charter? Let's get to the next one, y'all. Shout out to my man Anthony Crowback for the $9.99 super. Anthony Perry said with the $2 super chat, he said Fangio got to look at love tape, attack him. Absolutely.
Right.
You think Fangio ain't studying this young man? Man, Fangio was in that press conference saying, yeah, they live in 12 personnel. You know, they're really play action predicated, all that kind of stuff. You know, I would have loved to have seen more different schemes throughout training camp and more joint practices. But, you know, I think we're going to be ready. I think, you know, I think our guys will be okay. You know, the play action takes advantage of it. He got real in depth. You know, he's a open book. I love this guy. So shout out to Ant Perry with the $2 super. We appreciate you, brother. LB, want to read this one? Relic
with the 10 bones. Man, it was good times, wasn't it, Symone? I guess he was talking about I don't know what he was talking about. But I remember when he sent it, and it had something to do with what we was talking about.
Let us know what you're talking about, Relic. But I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Relic with the $10 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you, man. Thank you. Oh, man, that was cool. All right. Symone, this one for you.
Appreciate your play-by-play. Yes, my birthday is Thursday. Thank you.
Virgo?
Absolutely.
Oh, man. Yo, LB, we surrounded by Virgos, bro. Surrounded.
My birthday, my mom's birthday is today.
What?
My birthday is
Happy
Thursday.
birthday, Mama Stanley.
Yes, sir. Yes, have you a nice meal. You know what I'm saying, on Thursday. Get ready for Friday.
I'm gonna be
She ain't getting no sleep.
No sleep. But y'all, make sure y'all got your notification bells on because you already know I'm gonna be posting. And I should be going live on Thursday and Friday. So what y'all talking about Geminis in here? It's Virgo season. Get that out of here. But make sure y'all have your notification bells on because it's a pep rally on Thursday night. So
okay,
I'm gonna bring y'all some footage from the pep rally.
Hey y'all, look, we appreciate y'all super chats, by the way, right? We thank y'all so much for donating to the channels. Thank y'all for just investing in us. We really do appreciate y'all. It means a lot. We got another one. Craig Calloway, excuse me. He says, not
my
worried.
Dog, Craig.
What's going on? Craig.
Never scared. I ain't never scared.
Calloway, that's my guy.
Shout out to him, man. Shout out to him.
Shep-
And we got
Shep
another one.
just came
Shep
there
is
with
my
the
guy.
quick
That's
set
my
boom
OG.
for the closeout.
It's my listen, my man Shep show mad love. Like Shep be doing
Yeah,
10, 20,
yeah.
$30 every show. I'm like, yeah, OG,
That's
triple
not
OG.
bread.
That's my guy, man. And he bought some of the merch, so I really do appreciate him too.
Appreciate
so yeah,
you,
man.
Shep.
Y'all, this has been a hell of a show. And look, the bottom line is, y'all, all the talking. Listen, we done did so much pontificating, all this bloviating. I mean, my Stephen A. bag, right?
Right.
We done did all this talking about what's this, what's that, who got the most pressure, who got to do this. The reality is this, right? It's put up a shut up time. It's war time. It ain't time to shake hands. It ain't time to get with the homies. It's time for war. You dig me? Like this is that time where I lock in. This is the time where my wife already know. Let me just make sure the food done.
Mhm.
Let me make sure he got something to
Mhm.
drink. Let me remind him to go to the bathroom. I'm locked in front of the
remind him to go
TV.
to the
You feel what I'm
bathroom.
saying? So like it's just
Mhm.
it's so much energy, so much passion that's brewing right now, not just all across the country because of football, but in the city, in Philly, right? Where you at, Symone, in Atlanta, LB, where you at in the DMV. You know, so much stuff is brewing down here in Texas where I'm at, man. It's just, y'all, it's time. We done waited. So much money was spent, so much draft capital was spent. It's time for it all to mean something. It's time for everything to take shape. Jalen Hurts, what you gonna do? Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, what you gonna do? It's y'all time. Queen, what y'all gonna do? Because last time I
Listen,
checked, it's time to
all-
it's killer season for me. I'm
All I
sorry,
know is
everybody.
all I know
Everybody.
is win or lose, you don't want to miss next week's show.
Period.
I hope it's one of celebration. I hope it's one of relaxation.
We already know. Not hope. We know. Come on now.
Do not have me come on this show next week the way that I could come on this show. That's all I'm gonna say.
Shoot, y'all not gonna see me. If things don't go our way, it might not be no more.
Symone will crawl out.
I'm gonna be up at the Linc trying to get my refund for everything. Y'all gonna be seeing me outside the Linc, banging on the door, talking about some run me my money back for scamming me again.
Hey, listen, we smoking on top 5. I don't care what nobody say.
Right.
We smoking on top 5. I want to smoke with everybody. I mean that.
I want to smoke too. I just don't see nobody that could beat us. I know I got us going 12 and something, 13 and something. That's respectfully, but potential wise, we shouldn't lose the game if everybody healthy, everybody playing the way they should be playing. There's nobody that could beat us in the league.
Facts.
Standing on that.
Final super chat to me out of here. Aunt Perry with the $5. He said, as Symone would say, it's time to put up or shut up. No more bullshit.
No more bullshit.
No more.
On that note, y'all, we appreciate y'all. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the constant support. It means a lot to us, man. Like, you know, this show that we're building is truly just growing, and it's all because of y'all. So thank y'all so much. Make sure y'all keep hitting that like button. That like button is currency. That like button is food in this YouTube space. We don't eat without that like button. New people don't find the show without the like button. So make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are also subscribed to the show. The link up is here to stay. We giving y'all shows weekly all throughout the NFL season. And look, man, it's gonna get sticky out there, right? It's gonna get real sticky. But we appreciate y'all. Smash that like button. Any final words from y'all before we get out of here?
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Victory.
Go Birds. That's
the
it.
road is victory. Nothing else.
Yes, sir. Flag was fly. And guess what, y'all? There will be blood. We out of here. Peace out.